Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Very good morning to all of you. It is a Saturday morning on the 14th of January 2023. So it's not too late to say Happy New Year to 2023 and to a Happy New Year again, a bit early for all the Chinese citizens of the world. They're going to celebrate New Year next week. That's why we have the session today. Otherwise, next week, nobody with us. They're all cracking the firecrackers and food next week. So, welcome to the session with oil and gas mining academicians. We shall have sessions where we're going to discuss in a relaxing manner, on how shall we continue educating ourselves professionally and academically, especially for the oil and gas and mining professionals, that you can continue our journey to pursue our knowledge in the industries and towards all other means in our life. Just for a start, I would like to bring a story about Piper Alpha explosions. It was in 1988, offshore of Scotland, in the North Sea. There's an explosion that have changed and rocked the world, and it changed the life of oil and gas. 167 people perished during the event. 3 years later, I was with the Shell Research Centers in Taunton, doing the research together with a scientist there, try to simulate using a small skills model of the exact offshore platforms to try to emulate better and understand the cause of explosions. That experience basically changed my life. It changed the way that I look into the oil and gas sectors. And it is the time that I feel first the real explosions that really rock my spine. So that explosions changed my life and views of research. It also basically, further than that, I pursue a lot of things in my life, looking into research facilities and working with all the professors, etc. Unfortunately, basically, I decided to be professional engineers, to be really experienced in and knowing my life. But nevertheless, I never stopped pursuing the knowledge to these days. With that, basically, so that's why I'm of the moderators and I will not become the speakers of this one. I would like to introduce to you the teams who's going to give a talk today, and the teams that are going to assist me in the session today. My name is Engineer Al-Khari. I shall be your moderators for today's. Together with me is Miss Celia Wee. She's my co-moderators. Unfortunately, I can only be only half of the session. I had to hand over to Celia later on the second sessions of the activities. Well, both of us basically from oil and gas and technical divisions. We are members. I was a long-time member, and Celia was newly adopted to the sessions, to the committees. Welcome, Celia's back. So we just had our AGM last year. Last year looks so year is the last month, and that's why we have Engineer Razak who was our chairman for the session have done great jobs, then now he's been elevated to the rank of elders like me, once the advisors, So and all of you who comes in here, welcome to them. So before anything, I would like to introduce our esteemed speakers today. We also, as usual, I will start with just show your face and just you raise your hand. As usual, I would like to show ladies first. As ladies first, I would like to introduce to you Prof. Dr. Sharifah Rafidah, Wan Alwi. He's esteemed professors from UTM. I've known her for sometimes back. She's a well-known woman scientist. She's been listed the 8 women scientists from Asia that you should know in 2023. So she got this special voting that you know should know. So I think for all of you aspires to be scientists and researchers, since it's recommended by you all to by AskScientist.com, then you can ask her more questions so that you can understand what's her journey in terms of research, from getting professors at a very young age. And so I think she has received lots of awards, especially in her works in chemical engineering, in terms of pinch analysis, especially promoting a lot of research in the oil and gas sectors too. So that's Prof. Sharifah. How are you, Prof. Sharifah?
Sehat,
You can say a word
Thank you very much for the invitation.
presentation. So welcome to the session. Our second speaker is Dr. Again, basically we call like the academician, introduce the academician first. Associate Professor Dr. Syed Dr. Syed Fuad Syed Hashim he's from USM. If Prof. Sharifah just now from Johor Bahru now we have Dr. Syed Prof. PM Syed from Penang. Welcome, Prof. Syed.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, he's unlike Prof. Sharifah, who's a chemical engineer. Prof. Syed basically is the one that we always look into as in our mining mineral activities, because oil and gas have another sectors which is mining that we need to look into and cover that interest as well. So welcome, Dr. Syed.
Thank you.
The two professionals in the industries that become our speakers today. The first is Dr. Dave. Welcome, Dr. Dave.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Dr. Dave basically just completed his PhDs in what
In engineering business management.
Engineering business management. So he received award for his contribution to his PhDs. Is working with SBM.
Yes, SBM.
The SBM offshores those understand a bit of offshore platforms. So Dave is basically practicing engineers and basically pursuing his knowledge further in doing research and his activities. So welcome, Dave. Last but not least, again similar to Dave, which is our one of our oil and gas committee members. We have our last speakers, which is Engineer Danaraj. Welcome, Engineer Danaraj.
Yeah, thank you very much, Engineer Gary.
Engineer Danaraj basically has been contributing as well quite a lot to the oil and gas sectors. We've been working together for many years already now. So Danaraj basically has pursuing his studies in human factors engineering, which basically is other aspects of engineering that you all must understand. So I think that's basically the speakers today. This is basically just some ground rules of how we should run the sessions. I will go one by one, asking the first questions by to all the speakers. I will give them about 15 minutes to give their views and thoughts. If basically if they are overexcited and try to exceed their times, I will give them a short reminder. Otherwise, probably the other panelists will not have enough time to say their words. So that will be the first round. We go all the 4 panelists. You have about 15 minutes to say your views. From the session, after the first session, I will pass over the session to our Madam Miss Celia to take the second session. The second session basically will look into a bit of wrapping up of the issues. Basically, we have focus in 1 or 2 speakers, and the last of the sessions will open up for question and answers. So we'll open up the question and answers later in the sessions. You can put your questions in the chat box. So we'll be observing your chat box, and we will not allow for any oral discussions here. So the moderator will read on the chat your questions, and we'll take care of that session, and we shall post to the person intention. So otherwise, basically, we need to manage about 90 people here. It's a bit tough for us to allow everybody to speak. So the rules is basically the moderators will post a question, and with that, we have a session. Last but not least, there's a photo session. Kak Su, you want to photo session earlier of the session or later? I think it should be, we do it earlier of the session or not?
Earlier, sekarang ni sebab kita dah pin speaker, so macam susah untuk snap the picture.
So a bit later now.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have my face. Never mind. So I think it's okay now. So I think so at the end, before we finish our sessions, we just have simple photo shoots, and we try to finish it by 11. I think many of the oil and gas committee here, in the session as well, need to attend our committee meetings so that we can plan our activities for 2023. Okay, that will be our my starts of our discussion today. Then I would like to proceed with the session. As I said in my introduction just now, I always say basically we give the honor to the ladies first. So to the honor of the ladies, and we give to the professor, the professors, let the academicians do the honor of elaborating a bit more of the sessions. Prof. Sharifah, you have been in the academics for some time. You have been in industries. You're looking for you're active in lots of fields. I think you also though you are not in the oil and gas industry itself, but I think you have developed many students, colleagues, who works in industries and probably aspires to working together with universities, or for you specifically for the UTM. What shall be your advice, if industries would like to professionals or engineers would like to further their studies, how should they choose? What's the right method of studies? Because sometimes the challenges when you are already working and you're busy with the work, and how should you further your studies? I think that your first opinion on this matter is important for us to open this session. For Sharifah.
Thank you very much, IR Hairi. So the question on this, I would like to share a very short slide, because basically in the university, we have a lot of tracks. If, for example, the industries would like to further their study, there are many ways you can do it. You can do it part-time, you can do it full-time, and so on. So I just want to share a one-page slide where I would like to show you guys what kind of further study that you can embark on in the industry. Okay, so let me just give a quick share on this. Right. So basically, it depends on first what kind of study that you want to do. So for example, let's say you are at diploma level now and you would like to further study to undergraduate, or maybe you already have a degree and maybe you want to pursue your master or PhD. So I'll talk about undergraduate for a while. So basically, if you want to pursue your study in undergraduate study, there are two ways you can do it. One is you can do it full time. The second one is you can do it in the weekend, where we have a program which we call SPACE. SPACE is a continuing education, right? And if you are to go full time, maybe here, maybe not you, maybe most of you here, I believe, already have a degree. But maybe, for example, is for your son or your daughter, that is going to take a degree soon, you may want to consider this as well. So in an undergraduate study also, there are many ways you can do full time. One is the normal route, where your son or daughter or maybe yourself can apply via UPU. Another method is what we call the International Development Program. I think this is quite new. Not many people are aware. There are other routes that you can do undergraduate study in, for example, in UTM. And we have this direct route where you don't have to follow the UPU. Yeah, UPU route, and you can apply directly to UTM. For example, you like UTM, you don't like other universities. So this is a direct route that you can apply. Yeah. So another interesting new scheme in the university that I would like to maybe give awareness to all of you is what we call the PRISM. Yeah. So PRISM is a new innovation, yeah, made by UTM. Maybe other universities have also applied, I'm not sure. Where, for example, let's say you are doing undergraduate study, some of the subject, yeah, they make a streaming of subject. Like, for example, you can go streaming in energy, you can go streaming in bioprocess, you can go streaming in oil and gas, and so on. So the student will take some elective subject related to this streaming, and then this streaming, they can bring the credit to master level. Yeah, so this is an interesting mode as well, where you can cut short your master study if, for example, you or your kids are doing this PRISM route kind of study. Okay, right. I'll talk more on this master side. Yeah, so for example, you want to further your study. So you're thinking, okay, should I go for master? Should I go for PhD? How can I do master? Yeah, when I'm still working. Yeah, I'm still working full time and so on. So maybe you only have weekend to do your further study. So there are typically two ways that you can do your further study. So I'll start with master first. You can do part-time if, for example, you get a sabbatical leave from your boss, for example, or if you cannot go for full-time, then you can go for part-time or weekend classes. Yeah. So what kind of master course, master postgraduate study that you can go for? Yeah, we have several types of master courses. One, you can go for taught course or mixed mod, where, for example, you take class. Yeah. So, for example, if you don't like, so there are three ways: taught course, mixed mod, as well as research. So if you like research, you can go for master by research. If, for example, you feel that, okay, I cannot discipline myself because if I do master by research, likelihood that I will not be following, I will not be doing my research, I cannot be disciplined and so on. So you say, okay, maybe I'll go for taught course. Or maybe because you want to learn certain new skill or certain new knowledge, so taught course or mixed mode will also be the best direction. Yeah. So for taught course also, there are again new direction by the universities where how they want to close the gap between the university as well as the industry. Yeah. So for example, in the industry, there are certification requirement by the industry. Yeah? So for example, like let's say safety, health and environment, SHE, there is requirement by DOSH to be safety officers. Yeah, so for example, like in energy, there are requirement to be registered electrical energy management. Yeah, so nowadays there are several master courses in universities that they also come with 2-in-1. Yeah, you can get a master degree at the same time you can get these professional certifications as well. So in UTM, for example, we have several kind of this study. I give one example. We have what we call the Master in Energy Management. So for example, even if you are in oil and gas or mining now, but you would like to have certain specification or certain niche, yeah, maybe we have a lot of master program. We have Master in Chemical Engineering, we have Master in Gas, we have Master in Oil, Mining, and so on. Yeah, so if you would like to be expert and go deep into chemical engineering, oil and gas, and so on, you can go to those specific master. Or you can also opt to go for specification or special niche. Yeah, it's like a doctor. Yeah, when you're a doctor, for example, they have a doctor that is expert in surgery, for example, heart surgery and so on. So in furthering your study also, you can also go for master courses that are specialized in certain field so that you have a niche that you can sell. Okay? So maybe you want to go specialty in energy, maybe you want to go specialty in safety and so on. So UTM, we have this master which have certification or a normal master without certification. So for example, like I mentioned just now, the one with certification, we have like Master in Energy Management, where if you take this master, you can also get registered electrical energy manager at the same time when you graduated. Yeah. Another thing is, so this is the first one. We have two types of courses, certification and non-certification. The next question that you may want to ask yourself is that whether you want to do online or physical. Yeah, so let's say you are doing part-time. So is it you want to do online study, physical, or maybe a mixed mode? Yeah, so UTM nowadays, and I believe most universities, they have these different types of modes that you can choose. Yeah, if for example you cannot commit in the weekend, maybe going to, let's say you're from other states, yeah, you cannot come to KL or you cannot come to Johor to come to classes, so you can opt for online classes. Yeah, so we have online classes where we call it the online distance learning. We have physical courses for those that prefer physical meetings with the lecturers, listening to the lectures and so on. And we also have mixed mode. Yeah. There is another special scheme that again, maybe many of you are not aware of. So just now is a typical degree. Yeah? Maybe you can do in your weekend class. So we have another option where we call it the stackable degree, right? So what is a stackable degree? So basically, there are a lot of what we call the micro-credential courses. Yeah. So micro-credential courses are basically like professional courses, but it's very, very short. Yeah, it's like a few hours only. So it's like a bite-sized courses where it's easy for you to take. So you just spend a few hours and then you can get these bite-sized micro-credential courses. All right. So what happened in UTM now is that these micro-credential courses you can take with UTM or maybe even with other universities, and you can cumulate these micro-credential courses. And these micro-credential courses, if it's equivalent to some of the subject in the master courses, we can have a credit transfer. Yeah? You can convert these bite-sized courses that you take in the universities or even in, let's say, by trainer providers. Yeah. If, for example, these courses are accredited by the universities, you can collect all this bite-sized learning and you can convert it into credit transfer for master courses. So you can reduce the number of classes that you need to get. Yeah. So these are normally online and on demand. You can do it anytime you are free. You can do it at your own time. Okay, and the good part of micro-credential is that you get this, what you call the digital badges. Maybe you have heard about digital badges. And these digital badges, basically, it has all the information about the courses that you have taken, and it's being verified by blockchain technology. Yeah, so these digital badges you can put in your LinkedIn profile and so on. So you can showcase what are the courses, and the courses is verified by blockchain and so on. Yeah, so these are another potential way you can further your study. Maybe you cannot commit in full-time study yet. You don't want to register yet for master courses. So what you can do is you can go for this micro-credential, take some of these small courses at your own time. And then when you're ready to register for your master courses, then you can just show your digital badges on these courses, and some of it you can convert into credit transfer, right? So mixed mode also, we have these 3 types of routes. Yeah? And when we talk about PhD, yeah, so it doesn't mean that if I have an undergraduate degree, I cannot do PhD directly. I have to do master first, then PhD. So that is, in some cases, you have to do according to the sequence, degree first, followed by master, followed by PhD. There are also cases where you can jump. Yeah, you don't have to do master, for example, so you do PhD directly. Yeah, so one is if you have, for example, you're a first-class student, normally you can go for direct PhD, what we call it. Or another option is we have what we call the Apple A program, where if you have some experience in the industry, even though you don't have master, that additional experience that you have in industry with your degree, you can directly also apply for direct PhD. Yeah, so there are several ways you can apply for direct PhD, either one by one, or you can maybe jump directly to PhD, also possible. Yeah, so PhD also, you can do part-time or full-time, depends on which one you prefer. And normally in a PhD, many people always heard about research, but there is also a mixed mode method in doing a PhD. So normally if you do this mixed mode route, you'll get what we call engineering doctorate. Yeah, instead of a normal PhD, you'll get what we call an engineering doctorate, where you do some courses and classes, and then you do some part is your research dissertation, right? And finally, if you go for research mode, there are two routes. One is a normal PhD, where you have to do your proper literature review, you have to have your novelty and so on. And the unique part is that we have another unique PhD for industries, which we call the industrial PhD or industrial master. Okay, so what does this industrial PhD or industrial master mean? It means that you don't have to quit your job. you can do your PhD while you are working wherever you are now. Yeah. So for example, let's say I'm working in some company A, for example, I don't have to quit my job. I can still work as usual. And the topic of my PhD or master, for example, I can take related to my company. Yeah. So for example, let's say I'm working in oil and gas or mining. So I can do a research related to my company the result will contribute to my company. For example, let's say my company needs some optimization. Yeah, so I can do a research on how to optimize the process, or maybe improve the ESG of my company, or maybe improve the safety and so on of my company and so on. So you can choose a project which is related to your company. But of course, if you just do a normal project like consultancy, you cannot get a PhD. Yeah, so you still have to have an angle of PhD. And this one, normally you can get the advice of lecturers and so on for you to discuss what kind of industrial project which you can convert into PhD, and what additional things you need to add for that project in order for it to get this industrial PhD. Yeah. So in short, it depends on, let's say you want to further study. So these are all the different kind of modes, learning ways, part-time, full-time that you can choose of, and it depends on you. So if, for example, like I say, you prefer certification, you want to enhance yourself so that you have a niche compared to other people out there who are also applying for job. So go for master by course with certification. If, for example, you want to join academia, you want to be a lecturer in the future, maybe you can go for by research. So that you know how to apply grants, so that you know how to do proper research, you know how to guide and supervise students and so on. Or you can have a mixed mode, where you can have both things. You can learn the knowledge, the new advanced knowledge in the master classes, and you can also have some research part where you can enhance your research ability and so on. Yeah, so I think that's all. So I just give, okay, so this is what I meant, industries. You can also appel A, is where you can shortcut. Yeah, you can shortcut. For example, you don't have to take master, you can direct for PhD. So what you need is a degree, for example, and some years of working experience in the field that you're applying. Yeah, we have another program which we call Apple C. So let's say, for example, you take professional courses with some training providers out there. And this training courses is equivalent to the some of the courses in the master courses. So this one also, you can apply for credit transfer, but there will be some assessment as well as some requirement that they will need in order for you to transfer some of your professional courses. But it has to be equivalent with the courses that they're offering in master. Yeah, so this is just some overview. Yeah. So I give an example. All right. Okay. So the next question is, maybe you are interested also on how to fund your study. So there are several ways that typically students fund their study when they are furthering their study. One is they are self-sponsored. Yeah. A second is if your employer wants to sponsor you, that's great. Maybe you can apply for loan also, as well as convertible loan. Another one is if you are going for by research, like PhD or master by research, and you're doing full-time. Normally, lecturers at the university, they have research grant. So you just have to search the expertise of the lecturers, and then you can directly email and ask the lecturers if they have a research grant. Normally, they have a research grant for Malaysians, as well as those wanting to do by research full-time. Yeah, so you can also check at the postgraduate website as well as JobStreet. So sometimes they also advertise there if they're looking for students and so on. They're also sponsorship by government. Yeah, we have MyBrain, we have NSF and so on. Yeah, so how to apply? These are examples of links for UTM. So if you're interested in other universities, you can also go to their website. Yeah. So these are the example of the master courses. Yeah, so this is impact. Yeah, I show an example of these are students that have taken the master courses. Yeah, so for example, this student, once he complete that master course by master by thought course, so now he said he's very confident to do energy audit in various countries. Yeah, so this is another student. Before graduation, she already secured a job. Yeah, because of this specialization that she has. Yeah, so I think I'll stop here. So I think that's a lot of input. So feel free to ask questions later.
Yes. I think that's about the start questioning already lah. Thank you for Sharifah. I think it's a great opening lah. Basically, it shows to me now the routes to continue your studies, to pursue your professional careers are much more wider now. I think with the digitalization, I think that the the means are much more open. With that, I would like to go to our second speaker, which is basically Dr. Dave, or Engineer Dave, who has just, I think, completed his studies during the pandemics. Dave, is it correct, Dave?
Yes, you are right. That was the
I think
final
you
stage.
must have a
Yeah.
challenge. So you shall be the pursuing to in continuation with Prof. Sharifah advices now. The question that I would like to pose to you, what motivates you, Dave, to pursue your studies after and still in the industry, and then what shall be the challenges? I think actually you are the unique person who have been in the pandemics and online or offline, and then what benefits that you reap from your academic pursuits, So Dave, for you.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Ayal Khairi. Good question to start off on what really motivates an engineer to further studies lah. But before that, I would like to add on to what Prof. Sharifah said. There's another way to fund your studies if you're working is through EPF withdrawal, because I did that for my masters and my PhD. So you can withdraw from your EPF and you can pay up for your courses. Okay. So on what motivates me. So I started my career in an engineering consultant company, and then I moved to a fabrication yard for the next 3 years. Yeah. I was very sure from the beginning that I wanted to continue studies and pursue masters. By that time, just like all of us, I thought to myself that I'm very busy and I do not have time to spare. Right. I always had this thought. Right. Uh, and I also had this worry that if I don't complete my studies due to my work, probably I will end up using up my savings and it's a waste, right? But I found my motivation during the oil price drop in 2009. So there was a huge layoff in my company, and the basis was very simple. So if there's two-person available in the same role, just remove one and keep one. You see, so since I was only in my third year of working, I need to prepare myself to be laid off. Right, it could happen. Even if it's not in that round, it could be in the next round. So that's when I decided to pursue MBA. So what I had in my mind at that time was simple. That with an MBA, I can at least try for jobs from other industries. Right. So because I thought that, okay, what if I'm laid off in oil and gas? Probably I can try other industries. But a blessing in disguise, the MBA course turned out to be my biggest asset in my career path. Right. So from my MBA, I able to understand how business works. Right, on the decisions being made in projects and all. So this changed the way I approach my engineering work. Right. So there onwards, I always try to strike a balance between technical offering and commercial needs. Right. I talk technical to technical guys, and I talk about cost and value to the management team. Right. So that was my motivation for MBA. So that was different. But my motivation for my engineering doctorate was totally different. Right. So I realized that during my 3 years of MBA, my external knowledge on the industry was always up to date, right? Because I always read up articles, journals, and all. But in the 2 years break I took after my masters, my external knowledge was limited to my work alone. Right, I was too busy to just read up on other things and all. So I started to explore for postgraduate courses and got myself enrolled in UTM. Yeah, I did the mixed mode, like what Prof. Sharifah said. I did engineering doctorate and I graduated in 2021. And now I would like to share a bit on the challenges, right? So in the challenges, I would like to focus on my engineering doctorate phase, right? For your info, before UTM, I actually spent 2 full semesters in UM pursuing a conventional PhD. And then I opted out because it didn't really suit what I really wanted to offer, to strike a balance between the industry and what I plan to offer, right? So the first challenge I had was to convince myself that engineering doctorate course, which is 3 times more expensive than normal PhD, is worth the investment. Uh, right, but the idea of producing something financially benefiting the oil and gas industry, it kept me convinced that I'm on the right path, because that's what. So different courses, it offers different things. So if you are looking into something academic, then you should plan and you should uh, select the right course, right? The second challenge come in right as I started my research process. So after completing my subject, the first year subjects, and I started my research. So getting quality time on research work was very challenging, right? Because we always have short time, and when you start on literature reviews and research, you have to sit for at least 2-3 hours just to get your mind composed and all. So I was juggling between my project commitment at work. I was also volunteering in IEM, and I have kids at home, 3 kids, young kids, right? So understanding the level of commitment, what I did, I opted to give up my project manager role for a familiar desk job. I go back one step lower for one full year, right? I often ask myself if it's worth the hassle to have this dip in your resume, in your career timeline. But looking back, it was a much needed strategy to complete my studies within the time, right? So then I was struck with my biggest challenge in life, because all of a sudden my father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. That was during my final stages of completing my thesis and all, which was very tough on all of us, right? I could recall the many nights, late nights I spent in the hospital with my laptop working on my thesis. The morning I was working from home, and at that time I had all the reasons to just quit my studies and only concentrate on my family and work. Also at the time, almost all of my batchmates, they have decided to quit due to the MCO and all, and then they decided to take a break due to personal commitments and all, right? But at that difficult time, I continued to push myself. I turned my father as my role model, because looking at him going through major surgery, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, looking at all his struggles, I often tell myself, my challenges are too little to even complain about, right? So to conclude, um, on the motivation, you need to find your own motivation. Everybody have their own reason, but also remember that as an engineer, you need to have the mindset of lifelong learning, right? That's why we keep all the CPD and all, right? And on the challenges, everyone is actually fighting their own battle, right? They have their own set of challenges, and it's not easy, right? So what you have to do, you just have to start and take it at your own pace, right? Eventually you will achieve what you desire, right? And lastly, on the benefits, if you're not doing your masters and doctorate to just add titles, then all that you learn during your journey will definitely be useful in your career. But you have to be smart to connect the dots and try to market what you have learned from your educational journey lah. So that's all. I think, Gary, I would like to share.
Oh, that's a very inspiring lah. Yeah. You never know that you have such a tough journey to be where you are. Kan. No wonder you are a bit missing for a while kan, from the committees.
Yeah,
Kan.
yeah,
But
exactly.
okay, kan, I think so congratulations to you. Kan. But
Yep.
I would like to pursue back to the other sections of the oil and gas, kan, which is the mining. Kan, which basically mining, the Prof. Syed, Dr. Syed, kan, this is for us, many of us would think basically this is a real challenge as well. Kan,
Yes, agree.
back to my screen. So my questions to the site, we were once known for our mining industries, so before oil and gas, we are known about all the minings, but after the oil and gas, and then later on, mining is no longer there. There's a very few mining engineers around in the country now. So being a professional, so academics, in the minerals and mining, what can you do to develop graduates that can meet demands of the industries, especially now. I think mining is coming to emerge again, especially with the REE issues and other things. So what do you think? What is your roles as an academician?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and then a very good morning to all. All right. Mining has been an industry that industry that are not that famous nowadays because of the fall of tin prices back in years. And then after that, Malaysian has been quite minor players in mining industry per se. So and as you said, I mean, there's not many mining graduates that are being produced. At the moment, the only university that offering such courses at undergraduate level is USM only. So we are producing about 30 to 40 students per batch, which is from our market study that showing that that's the amount of engineers that we can not really we can supply, but the market can really receive due to the nature of the industry itself, the scale and everything. So but to give you some background about the industry itself, Malaysia is actually being blessed with the presence of more than 34 valuable minerals around the countries. The one that normally we always seen into is like tin, gold, iron ore that become famous, and now they come up with REE, which is another industry that coming in. So those are the non-renewable resources that has been our industry as a contribution to our economics development in Malaysia. And then after, in fact, before petroleum came up as another industry, mining has been there to contribute. And of course, with the new policy coming in, with the state mineral enactment, with the new mineral policy, this has been revolutionized in mining industry. So this will give more flexibility to the industry to go away from the natural or traditional minerals like tin, gold, iron ore, or heavy minerals like ilmenite, monazite, xenotime, to other minerals that have more potential that we have in Malaysia. For example, Minerals and Geoscience Department, GMG, have estimated, I think this was quoted by the ministry previously, that we have a reserve or a resource which value more than 4 trillion at that time, and comprising of metallic minerals, non-metallic minerals, and energy minerals. So that actually a big amount of resources that we have that we can exploit. So, and then with the fluctuation of this metal due to certain factors that we see about war and everything, so these also actually another issues that contribute to an overall spectrum of the mining industry, not just in Malaysia but worldwide. So as I said, in Malaysia, within Malaysia, with the new emergence of new resources, like for example, the chairman mentioned about REE is another thing that become more what we call hot topics nowadays. Thinking about how we can exploit these resources with 2 keywords: sustainably and also responsibly. So these 2 keywords is actually a very big issue in mining industry. And the tarnish that being done by previous players that showing that are mining that are destructive and being done in not in a sustainable and manageable manner. So these have to be tackled seriously. And I think there are so many rules and enactment that already there that try to control this to ensure that we can actually do mining more sustainably and responsibly. All right, so back to the question that is a general overview of the industry itself, and then when we look into the new things that coming in like REE, we are having now tin, we are having now manganese, and also I must say the quarrying industry can be considered as part of mining also. It's been there due to the construction that we're having now. So as a mining engineering is a broad profession, that means embrace all the activity to facilitate recovery of valuable minerals, product from the earth crust, benefit to the humanity. So it's one of the oldest engineering profession. And then I think in Malaysia, this profession have not been seen as famous compared to the traditional industry, like for example, mechanical, electricals, civil engineering, in fact, chemical engineering. So the intake that we are having now to actually pursue in mining and engineering has become less and less, but the industry are demanding on them. That can be seen in our employability. Within 3 months, all of our graduate has been taken by the industry, either they are locally or internationally. So the demand is always there. So it's just that maybe the visibility of and the importance of this industry and the importance of having a good skilled people in mining engineering must be portrayed into. So that's why the curriculum or the content of the mining engineering program must be make it to be the content of the current. So you have to make sure that it's actually what the technology happening now in mining, in processing, and those have to be encompassed in the curriculum. So to ensure that we deliver, and then as academics, we deliver the right content, the right input to the student to ensure that they meet the demand from the industry, is to ensure that their program are well established. And then in fact, I think most of our program that we have, especially in USM, I think engineering per se, they're all being accredited and they are all being monitored. And then as USM per se, most of our engineering program, especially for mining, we have external evaluators that come from the industry, not just locally, but also internationally, and recognize our program as to be equivalent to the worldwide mining program. So our students have no issue in exchanging students and everything. So that don't have any issue regarding that. So so what are the skill? What are the necessity that the student or the skill required that we as academics need to deliver? I think that's what the industry always demand into. So they requires that. They always ask for, we want communication skill, we want this skill, we want that skill. So we as academic try to accommodate as much as possible. So and overall, I think analytical skill, decision-making skill, logical thinking skill, math skill, of course. I mean, that's our background in engineering anyway. And then writing skill, I mean, presentation, communication skill, all those are required. Especially when we talk about analytical thinking, all the mining engineers, I think, in fact, not just mining engineers, all engineers are required to solve problems by considering multiple, potentially, I mean, complicated problems that we are having day to day. So those are the required skills that we have to ensure that our graduate having them. So by achieving or by accommodating certain skill within the undergraduate studies, and also in fact for postgraduate studies, that have to be embedded in the teaching part, to ensure that that skill has been adopted by the student when they go for working. So those are the skill that might have to be within the student, and it's not that straightforward that this skill can be adopted by the student when they graduate. Sometimes this is not really visible once they graduate. So it's actually that challenges that we as academic need to ensure that they have that skill before and upon their graduation. So I would like to also highlight one thing when we talk about producing that. I think as an experienced people, the linkages between industry and also the academics to ensure that the student having the right skill, having the right knowledge, having the right experience when they adopting the undergraduate study, especially when we talk about mining. So that's actually to ensure that our role as academic, I and myself, I mean, in this industry, have to make sure that the industry is actually accepting our student with those skills. But I would like to highlight another issue that might question everybody is what happened to mining industry in before this. I mean, we are always looking into mining as tin, iron, and those traditional things. So, but nowadays, people are looking into mining engineering as a skill that is required, because we have to have the special skill or the specific skill to ensure that our resources are well managed, well exploited, and taken care of the environment, and they are being exploited sustainably and responsibility. This skill, this generic skill must be embedded in the curriculum and into the continuous professional development courses. And I think with that, our graduates and our potential people that want to jump into this industry are well versed into the industry. And then I think the role between industry and also academic have to play their role as well. And then yeah, I think that's the things that I want to say at the moment. I'll continue with certain other elements when the topics come in. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. For Syed, it's getting heated up, I see all I see discussions heated up, I think our last journals, IM journals, last year, so we're talking about sustainability in mining industries, which basically the areas where the mining which is not forgotten, but it's so important, but we need to really brighten them again, give them more life, and make the engineers understood, there are areas that we need to have professionals to work in industries. And of course, collaboration between academics and industries are vital to make sure that the courses are relevant, as well as getting the professionals pursue in the areas of their interest. With that, I would like to go to our final speaker for the first round of the session, Engineer Danaraj, who has been with the consultants for some time, with as a consultant as ONGs, what do you feel, how much is your academic life, in pursuing your PhDs, have supports your consultancy work, and how have you contributed your experience in doing the research, the academic life, to your actual consultancy academic works, your actual work, so what is your experience, Naraj?
All right, thanks, Engineer Terry. So this is something I can share with the audience. So many people has the notion that once you start working, your prior academic experience or academic studying doesn't support much. But I'll give you a contrary idea to that. That you need some level of academic rigor in your working life. So at least from my experience as a consultant, overall I'm having about 20 years of experience here. So I've seen the downturns and the upswing of the industry, at least within the oil and gas industry. So my academic life from the undergraduate years till the postgraduate, from masters, when I started my doctorate studies also had given me some good grounding when I approach the problem as a consultant. As well, also it helps me to work in a structured manner. So that's what it's all about. Good grounding and structured manner. So everyone need to understand academic life or college life gives you the building blocks and the necessary tools for you to thrive in the industry. So it covers the whole loads of subjects. Okay? So every subject can be mechanical, chemical, or even electrical. So it provides you the building blocks for the discipline when you start working. And also every assignment that you do improves your soft skills. It can show your initiative when you conduct a project, a small project or a large project, even a co-curriculum activities, and your language skills, where you practice your language skills. So some examples that I can share, or perhaps everyone can relate to. So coming from mechanical engineering, so mechanical engineering students will be studying different mechanics subject. It can be solids, then it can be a fluid mechanics. So they have step 1 and step 2, and also materials engineering as well. So all this gives fundamentals for the application that used in the oil and gas sector. So such as the when you design a piping layout system, selecting the correct materials, when you brainstorm for ideas, and also when you want to improve the current systems. All this gives you the building blocks. So people need to understand, sometimes fresh graduate also can give new ideas. Maybe they're looking at a different perspective that you never looked at it for the past 20 years. So we need to appreciate those kind of perspective as well. Sometimes it can be simple, but can give a good impact as well, project. So nevertheless, we also need to acknowledge that fundamentals only is not adequate for you to make your marks in the industry. So you want to make the mark, you want to be a standout in the industry, you will do that when you bring in new methods, okay, approach, and also technology to solve problems. So this takes some time. All right? So experience helps over this point, and also when you engage with the experienced parties within the industry or different industry, also it helps. Okay, that's why you can see some of the application done in building side are brought into the oil and gas sector, or even the healthcare are bringing to the oil and gas sector. So there are some hybrid thing are going on, right? So that happening in the background. So for this, you need a teamwork, engagement with multiple parties. Okay, so you have to acknowledge or be realistic. You can't practically be expert in everything. You need so many parties to support your endeavors. Okay, so personally, I've been tapping into the fundamentals that I've learned in the universities for my postgraduate studies. Okay, so I managed to create methods and also bring in some new practices from overseas to be deployed here. So usually I make it deployed here, then it takes some years for it to become a standard within the market. So in other words, this creates some opportunities within the local market. Okay, so something we all of us can benefit. Once you get the hang of it, you can export back to the overseas market. Okay. On the second part of the questions, so all this I've been sharing my experience with the local education fraternity through my sharing session with the universities. So we'll conduct some webinars, okay, and also give internship opportunities in my organizations wherever I am. So the intention here is to give students some idea what are the high value areas available for them to dive in. Okay, there are new sectors are coming up, okay, and become professional engineer in the long run. So I have also worked with University Malaya to develop postgraduate studies in the human factors field, the field that I'm particular have some expertise, focusing in the oil and gas sector, getting some of the graduates to become a chartered ergonomist. Okay, up to the chartered ergonomist is usually accredited from UK, right? So that I find this very beneficial to the local academic group, just to show that we have such capability within our market. Okay, so once you work within the industry practitioners. Okay, so I think with that, I'll summarize that. When you work together, a lot of things can be achieved. That's all. Okay, back to you, Engineer Al-Khairi.
Okay, thank you, Dana Raj. I think this is quite interesting. We started off with what's industry is all about, what's academics is offering, and how we do the merging. I think it's always obvious. It's I think many of us don't really understand what's the relationships between academics and industries, and how can we do together. I think with our collaboration with academics, I think we can do a much better for the countries. With that,
Yeah.
basically, I would like to invite Celia. Are you there, Celia?
Yes, I'm here, Al-Khairi.
So I need to pass the baton to you at this moment, So with that, I
Alright.
say thank you to all of you, I still need to be excuse myself for the sessions. I enjoyed my time here. Celia I trust that you'll be in good hand of Celia. I think any problems, Razak is always there behind the background to support us, So thank you. I pass to you, Celia, for the next session, Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Before we move on, just now we received a question for Prof. Sharifah, which is a question for Prof. Sharifah later. Is it possible to apply for a PhD program in UTM via FLA with a bachelor degree from UTM? What are the chances of being accepted?
All right, thank you very much for the question. So basically, if you want to apply for direct PhD, first is if your CGPA is more than 3.67, you can apply directly for PhD, even if you don't have master, right? So for Apple A, for now, they are working to apply Apple A for also skipping master, meaning if you have degree, you can also do PhD. But just now I was asking one of my colleagues, she said that one is still on the way, yeah, but they are also working on it so that you can skip your master and do your PhD directly. But for now, what is Apple A that is available already currently, and they have also piloted it by 1 or 2 students, I believe. It just started, yeah, this Apple thing is just started where you can skip some of your degree and proceed to the other degree. So what they have done already so far, which she mentioned to me, is that they have skipped the person do not need to do degree, but they can do master directly. So that one has also been done in UTM, yeah, where they have skipped their master, but they have to go through this Apple A process where they have what they call the aptitude exam, where they have to submit some portfolio, and there are also some interview as well as assessment. So it's not really that easy for you to skip a degree in order for you to go for another. For example, like you skip your degree, you can do master directly, or you skip your master and do your PhD. There is an assessment method for that one. Yeah. So to sum it up, if you have CGPA more than 3.67, you can apply directly, regardless if your degree is from which university. It doesn't have to be UTM. It can also be from UTM. Right. Thank you.
Celia, can I add into that?
Yes, sure.
I think Prof. Sharifah did highlight one thing. I mean, when people are so excited when they can actually, transfer some, they can skip things. I mean, not having master and straight away to PhD. But I think the assessment have to be there. The assessment is required. So I think you need to really understand what Apple A and Apple C is all about before you get excited. I mean, to really go into having this. But they are, I mean, in fact, not. I would like to highlight not just from UTM, UTM as well. I mean, you can be from other universities. You can actually go with this to go with PhD. So I think we and USM also start accepting people with Apples. They have no issues as long as you fulfill the requirement. I think that will be the big opportunity for people from industry to really participate into furthering their studies in universities. Thank you, Celia.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Sharifah, and thank you, IR Shahid. I think they already answered what Joel asked. Okay, let's move on. Can I ask Prof. Sharifah, what kind of research can industry do with the universities, and how can the project be funded actually?
All right, thank you very much, Celia. All right, I think Danaraj has also mentioned some of the things just now, like, for example, if you were doing some fundamental research, you have internship students and so on. Those are the kind of things that we can collaborate. So I have another slide. Sorry, I prepared these slides because I know that sometimes if I say too many things, it's going to be very hard for you to follow. But some people, especially engineers like us, yeah, we are very graphical people. So we like to see this graph as well as pictures. So I would like to share another slide, which I have also summarized. Yeah, what are the kind of things that university, industry, as well as government, yeah, how they are interlinked, yeah, how they can help each other, how they can collaborate for a win-win as well as a mutual benefit. Yeah. So for example, the first thing is, of course, the industry. The industry are normally the people that produce the products or the services. Yeah. So the industries are the company that employ the technology, bring new technology in. And let's say a university, they have already come up with some new technology at the lab. The industry are the one that brings it to the market and so on. Yeah. So industries are the implementer of the technology. They are the user. And in some cases, they need to do a lot of optimization. So let's say the product is already stable. So they need to troubleshoot, they need to do optimization and so on. Yeah. So industries, basically, they have some problems. Sometimes they want to find new technology so that they can compete with their competitors and so on. So these are typically the industrial needs. So at the same time, we also have the universities or the academia. So the universities, normally, this is where you have your researchers, yeah, the researchers that do their PhD, their master. Yeah, we have PhD master students. We have undergraduate students, like now we also have what we call UNIX, where we combine undergraduate research with internship. Yeah. And so in the academia, we have researchers, yeah, we have resources, we have labs, yeah, we have grants from government and from other resources as well. So the universities, is their role to help industries to do research, yeah, to do research for projects that may benefit the industries. But industry and academia, they have to talk in the first place. Yeah, if they don't talk in the first place, then this will not happen. Yeah, industries will work by their own. Academia will short sendirilah, do their own research, which is not related to the industries and so on. So this is the bridge or the gap that we need to we need to bridge, yeah, between this industry and academia. If, for example, industry and academia can work together to discuss about what are the actual industrial needs of Malaysia that can help propel the technologies of Malaysia to another level. And then the academia, they can do their research, they have experts, they can work together and collaborate. They have time, they have students that can work on all these kind of research projects. And at the same time, of course, government, yeah, they want to have a prosperity country. They want to make sure that Malaysia is also at the forefront of technologies, just like Japan, just like China, just like US, as well as other countries. Yeah, so the government, they normally have incentive, they normally have grants, they normally have policy that supports this collaboration between industry, academia, and government. Yeah, so if we can work together in this, what we call the triple helix model, where industry, academia, as well as government, and we'll have a mutual benefit. Yeah, everyone is happy. The society also get the new products as well as technology. Industries will be better than their competitor. Academia, they will do some research that is beneficial to the society as well as the industry, and the government will also be happy with the increase in the GDP and so on. Yeah, so this is what we want. Yeah. So what kind of projects, yeah, that industry and academia can work on? Yeah. So there are many types of R&D project that, let's say we're talking about oil, gas, as well as mining industries. There are many kind of research project that industry and academia can work on. So typically, industries, they don't like long projects. They don't like a project that you can only give them solution after 2 or 3 years. Yeah, if you're doing master, it's 2 years. If you're doing PhD, it's 3 years. Normally, industries, they like this fast kind of result. Yeah? So we call it the low-hanging fruit projects, where, for example, the project has to be delivered in 3 to 6 months. So there are this kind of project. For example, you need to troubleshoot something, you need to optimize something. Maybe you have problem with your wastewater treatment plant. Maybe you have some issues that you need to solve, but you cannot solve within your industries. Maybe because you don't have the expertise, one, or second, maybe you don't have time. Yeah, because most of your engineers in the industry, they're already quite busy handling all the engineering tasks inside the company. So they don't have time to do this troubleshooting and so on. Yeah. So what you can do is you can work with the industries, throw them this problem, find the right experts that can help as well as guide you. And this could be a potential research project that can have a win-win situation. Yeah. So there are many kind of projects. You can go for fast project, which is like short project, 3 to 6 months. You can go for projects which are applied research. It means that the methodology and so on is already there, but we just do it for a different case study. You can also go for fundamental research. Yeah. So let's say, for example, let's say you want to find a new solvent that can help you to separate some of the components in the oil and so on. So we can go for fundamental research and so on. Yeah. So there are also research that where you can bring the research to commercialization. Yeah. So I have a project that I have did with one company. So what happened is that that company, they started with our research center on developing their emission. Yeah? So they want to study the emissions in the area of their company. So after we have completed that project, we developed a software for them to monitor the emissions in a dashboard and so on. So what happened is that from that research, we can also bring it to commercialization. Maybe we go for digitalization. So this is also a possibility where you can work with the academia. The academia, they can also work on a research that can go up to commercialization, developing prototype, and then you can bring this prototype to validate it in the lab as well as environment setting. And there are a lot of ways we can do it. Yes, I'll talk later about the research funding that you can also go for. So research type also, there's a lot. You can do optimization type of research, simulation, experiment. You can also do digitalization. Nowadays, many industries, they are thinking of ways to go for digitalization for their company. You can do testing and validation. Let's say for now, you have some lab scale. You want to do pilot scale and so on. There are also research grants in this area. Yeah, they're also for prototype development and so on. And the good part in the industry, in the university, is that we have a lot of resources. Yeah, we have undergraduate students that need research project. We have PhD as well as master students. Yeah, that can give full time 3 years or 2 years of their study just for that project with your company. Or if, for example, your company do not want to take external student, you want to build your own talent inside your company, you can also opt for your staff to do that research. Yeah, that's the industrial PhD or industrial master that I mentioned just now. Or another option is that if, for example, like this low-hanging fruit project, 3 to 6 months, normally we cannot take students to do this because it's too short to take master or PhD students. Normally we'll employ like research assistant or research officer to do this kind of project, or maybe even postdoc students. Yeah. So the final part is, okay, let's say industries or your company is interested in this kind of collaboration with universities. So how do you proceed? Yeah? How do you proceed? How can you, let's say there's a project that you're interested on. How do you fund the project? Yeah. So there are many ways you can fund research projects like this. One is your own company can fund it. For example, you can offer a research contract. And the good thing is that you can apply for double or triple tax deduction if you fund a research contract with a university. Yeah, so I give an example. Let's say you fund a project which is worth 100,000. Yeah, a research project. The research project maybe can solve your safety issue or maybe solve your production issues and so on. So you fund about 100,000. So that 100,000, you get the research result. Yeah, so for example, the university, they help you to solve that problem. So with that 100,000, you get to solve the problems that you have in the industry, or maybe you get to develop new products or new technology or new solutions in your company. And then the good part again, that 100,000, you can apply for double tax deduction. Yeah, it means you can use it for your tax exemption and it will be double the amount. So let's say you give 100,000, you can apply for 200,000 tax deduction. So it's better than giving sponsorship. Yes, and sometimes students or other people come to ask for sponsorship. So if you give like sponsorship to schools and so on, normally there's only single tax deduction. But now if you go for research direction, you get double tax deduction, and then at the same time you get the research result. Yeah, so how great is that? All right. So there are also other ways. If, for example, the project is very big, so normally you don't have your own fund, maybe it's not enough, you need support. Yeah? So there are also possibilities to request for matching fund. So government also, there's a lot of matching fund that we can apply with. And sometimes the university themselves also have this kind of matching fund where industries give some percentage and university or government give some percentage of the funding. Yeah. So there are also fully government fund. As well as partly government fund. So I give some example. There are fundamental research grant, a transdisciplinary research grant. There are also like this commercialization towards direction by MOSTI, yeah, like the TED AIF grant and so on. Yeah, so there are also PPRN and so on. So if you're interested in any of this grant, you can also contact me and I'll also be happy to explain further about it. Yeah, so there are also commercialization grant. So it means that if, for example, industries go with universities on some of these research projects, you can go to the next level of commercialization from TRL1 until TRL7, 9, and so on. And there's a lot of funding, again, that can be explored, yeah, like super, platform, and so on. So other options, which are not really that common, is what we call the consortium research grant. So consortium research grant is, for example, let's say you're oil and gas. So there are several oil and gas companies that have the same problem. So instead of only one company taking out some of your money to fund this project, maybe several oil and gas industries, because you have the same problem. So you can compile the fund. Yeah? That's what we call consortium research grant, where several of the same company, several type of companies that have the same problem, they can pile up the fund. So for example, instead of you have to fund 1 million by yourself, so maybe each company now give 200,000. So there are 5 oil and gas company, each giving 200,000. So you get that 1 million funding required for the research, and then the result is utilized by all 5 companies. So that is also possible. And the last option is what we call crowdfunding. There are also websites, yeah, that we can post this kind of research topics that maybe might interest the public, and the publics might give some funding for the researcher as well as the project. Yeah, so these are some examples of research as well as ways university as well as industries can collaborate. And besides R&D, there are also other ways where industries as well as universities can collaborate. One is maybe you don't want research, you want a fast consultancy project directly with the experts of the universities, then you can go for consultancy project. There are also, like, for example, you want to contribute in terms of satellite lab, or maybe you want to put some of your demo case inside the university. Yeah, so we can do like living lab collaboration as well. Or for example, let's say you require some lab testing. There's a lot of labs in the universities. Again, you can also utilize as well as collaborate with universities to use some of these lab equipments. Yeah. So universities also, we have a lot of manpower. We can help with CSR project. Maybe you don't have enough manpower. We can also do ESG programs and so on. Yeah. We even have packages that you can choose. For example, you can choose package 1, package 2, package 3, or we can create new packages of CSR as well as ESG programs. Yeah. So again, there's a lot of opportunity. Like, for example, we can send our intern student there, and then our intern student can do what we call the UNIX project, yeah, a research project with internship. Industries can also give endowment or give, or maybe professor chair to the universities. And just like what Mr. Danaraj mentioned just now, industries can also help the universities, yeah, for example, as mentors, industrial advisor, panel speakers for various of the programs as well as the curriculum in the universities. Yeah, so I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Sharifah, sharing us how industry and university can be collaborated, especially in how university able to help in research project and benefit to your organization. Can say that it's not only help our organization to solve the problem, it also can help in this tax exemption. Okay, if you are interested, you may find Prof. Sharifah more for the detail. Let's proceed to our next speaker, which is Danaresh. I heard that your postgraduate study was on human factor engineering. How can you relate this your understanding of the subject to apply in this oil and gas industry?
Okay, thank you, Celia. So, okay, just to give some short introduction on the human factors subject itself. So, human factor is a subset of the technical safety discipline in the oil and gas industry. So, the subject itself is quite new within our local fraternity, but it is growing. To put it into perspective, demands for it has started since 10 years ago due to some issues in certain projects. However, due to the sector crunch back in 2015 and 2016, it had been held back to a certain extent. So presently, the number of local active human factors practitioners in Malaysia is less than 5%. So I can say there is plenty of room to grow here, and there are a lot of demands coming locally as well as overseas, so that we can tap in to expand our economic pie. Okay, so let me share my screen just to give you some idea. So hope everyone could see the screen. Okay, so human factors engineering revolves around the application of human factors requirement into the design of the oil and gas facilities. So it concerns the people's performance, equipment, interfaces, systems and organization. So you can see what are the elements involved around it. Who are the people? Okay, what people are doing, how people are doing it, and where people are going to do it. So these are the elements of it. So this is what we call as a system ergonomics. I think the term ergonomics people are more familiar compared to human factors engineering. So it goes beyond the desks and chairs that we always apply. Okay. So requirements here that we are talking about is the user interfaces. So where we need such as the accessibility to the equipment and also the control interfaces. So sometimes when we interfaces with this equipment and also the control, errors might happen. So the purpose of the human factors engineering is to minimize the error. So whereby we design the system to meet the human's needs rather than the way around. Okay. And also we need to understand that most of the international standards are developed for the Western Hemisphere population. So these need to be bridged for the local populations. So we have a lot of equipment, facilities. Okay. So we need to have some bridging document or bridging requirements to suit us. Us means the Asian populations. Okay. So developing this involves a lot of engagement with different parties, okay, such as operations group, manufacturers, vendors, and also designers. All of them are engineers, per se. Okay, so we sit in the same group, I would say. So these requirements, we need to formalize it, and the implementation need to be verified. So there are methods that need to be engaged when we do this. Okay. So when the implementation could not be achieved, so there will be some level of risk. So this to be managed as low as practically possible. So that's what we practice in the industry. Okay, so coming back to the question, this is how I relate my understanding to the application. Okay, so throughout my studies, whether it comes to the masters and also the start of my postgraduate doctorate studies, so it gives me some building blocks, intro to the tools. So just looking at these human factor subjects only, there are more than 200 tools that you can use. But you must know which one to use, okay? And also it can be qualitative and also can be quantitative. All these need to be brought into the industry's working area, right? Okay, so when you do the design, when you operate the plant, you must bring the tools to the operators, to the engineers, right? Okay, so then you get them to be involved, use the tools and get the outcome of it, right? Okay, so apart from that, the most important skills that I learned during my postgraduate studies all is processing and analyzing information. Okay, so as you can see from the chart, right? So there is an element of analysis, right? So this is really useful. Okay, so and also you have to do it in a structured manner, right? Okay, structured manner only you can integrate into the design, right? Okay, and also some example, when you do the literature review, it has to be done in a certain period of time during your early postgraduate studies, okay, not later. Okay, and when you do it faster, it gives you an edge in the working life. So all these are the training grounds, right? So you have to process a lot of information. So I'm talking about dwelling into like 500 or thousands of pages in a short period of time. So when you do it in a structured manner and also faster, you can impress your clients. Okay. And another one is, I think nowadays is becoming a requirement or prerequisite, right? You need to publish your thoughts or whatever review has done during your studies in the journals, right? So I had the opportunity to do a lot of these things. Okay, so I managed to publish in some highly ranked journals during my postgraduate studies in multiple discipline or multiple areas. Right? So this has really given me a good standing in the industry, which I used to market my skills more. Okay, so in a nutshell, as I do my postgraduate studies, it gives me a good grip of the fundamentals and also understanding of the tools and how to use it and the results of the analysis. Okay, I able to deliver it to my client confidently through my writings, which I'm quite good, okay, due to my postgraduate studies. So end of the day, I can give a holistic solution and a credible solution to my clients. That's what we need in the industry. Okay, so just one more slide. Okay, so these are the flows and the processes that I've followed through all, and some of it I've learned through my postgraduate studies, which I really implemented into my working life. Okay, so with that, I end my session. Okay, thanks.
There's a question for you, Dhananaj. Could you give us some advice on writing an excellent literature review?
Excellent literature review. So basically, from my experience, it is a structured manner. Okay, you have to be current in your thoughts. So usually, I'll try to go by numbers. From I start with 100 journals or 100 odd journals, then I streamline to 50. So all these things need to be focused to your subject that you are writing on, and it must be current, preferably within the last 5 years to the year that you intend to publish. Otherwise, the reviewer will come back, is it current or not? What is the percentage? So the percentage that I was given to achieve is around 28 to 30%. At least it must be within last 5 years. So you have to do it in a structured manner, get your skeletons in place first. Once you have written, you have to revise your draft multiple times. Best case scenario is, apart from your lecturers, try to get an independent third party who is working in the industry if you have contacts from the overseas, try to get them to review, have their thoughts, whether it is meet the expectation of the readers or not. So that I would suggest, at least based on my experience. So to attract overseas who want to review yours, I would suggest give them some like a third co-author role, so that their contribution is recognized. Okay, I think that would be my input for the question. I think Professor Sharifah also can contribute. I think she would have more experience in this kind of area.
Yeah, so how to write a good research? Actually, there's a lot of seminars as well as workshops that, especially if you join as a postgraduate students, you don't have to worry, right? I think every year they have like 3 or 4 seminars on how to write a good literature review, how to write a journal paper, how to write a good thesis and everything. So normally there's just a lot of talks on this. Of course, what you need, you need to do a proper literature. You need to do a good writing. Yeah, you need to make sure that your thoughts is being aligned when you are writing and is structured writing. So all this is a learning process. Yeah, not everyone is first time join a research, doing a research like master or PhD, immediately they're expert in writing. And nobody is like that. It's a learning process where you have to learn. First is always to attend webinars as well as attend talks as well as so on to understand first how to do it. And normally in the universities, they have 2 stages. Yeah? The first stage is the seminar or awareness. So they'll tell you how to do all this literature review theoretically. So the second stage is normally they will have a mentor where the mentor can sit down with you. So let's say, for example, you have a draft paper. So draft paper, normally you can join this kind of hands-on workshop as well, where they will assign you a mentor that can help go through your paper and give some comments as well as feedbacks. Yes? But normally your supervisor is the first person that will vet through your paper and give you advice. The second is you can go for these workshops, as I have mentioned. And the third is you just submit to any journals, for example, and when you get feedback from the reviewers, yeah. So first feedback, maybe you'll be crying, yeah, because the reviewers are very, yeah, you'll be so sad. You've spent so much time on writing this paper, and people say your work is rubbish and so on. But be persevere, yeah? Be persevere. Don't give up, yeah. Take note what is good. By the advice of reviewers and so on, you can improve your writing, you can learn from others, you can get advice and so on. And so that's what I can say.
Yep, to add to Prof. Sharifah saying that once you're registered as a postgraduate student in any universities, in fact, they will guide you accordingly. I mean, how you to conduct research, especially when you involve in research mode. They will guide you in terms of how to get, because sometimes, I mean, when you attach with the university, the resources must be vast. I mean, you can cover the whole spectrum of journals, the whole spectrum of books, e-books and everything. So that will comprise you to get a good literature and have a good thesis. And from there, you will kick off in getting a good research product, which is your papers and also your output from that particular research. Yes, thank you.
There's
When
another question you want to add on?
Yeah, I just want to add on. When Prof. Sharifah said about perseverance, so sometimes they're bound to be rejections, right? Some rejection may not be due to you. In your publication, your paper will not be aligned with the scope of the journal. I had a similar experience. So usually we try to make our life easy. We submit to the Q3 journals so that it's easily accepted. So that's one of the tricks people say. So I had the experience. I submitted to this Q3 journal. They rejected me. Okay, so I thought maybe it's not the right journal. So then the next one, I resubmitted back to a Q1 journal, which is more stringent requirement. They accepted it without much question. So I was surprised. Okay, so, and it's really helpful for my career. So when I can publish in a Q1 journal multiple times, I think people have more recognition to my writing. So that's, I would like to share that. So back to you, Celia.
Yes, another question for you. does industry really spending big sum of capex on ergonomics with the changing of COVID-19 where working from home are a new norm now? Does investment in this ergonomics able to increase the productivity?
Okay, so for on that line, there are two line of thoughts, right? Because nowadays there are more people are opting for the hybrid work. Some portion in the office, another portion in the home. So when I say home, most likely the owners of the business or your bosses will not spend money for you to buy a ergonomic chair or ergonomic table for you. But I can see the trends, especially in the multinational companies and those higher end GLCs. They're already spending or increasing their capex to upgrade their office to suit the new norms. So there is an increase of ergonomics furnitures being bought, okay, and there is awareness being increased within the general industry. Okay, so when they design, they do engage certain HFE practitioners or even ergonomic practitioners. Okay, so DOSH does have ergonomics training part 1 and part 2 for them to emphasize this. Okay, because in the past 10 years, so I've seen there's an increase of claims to SOCSO or PERKESO on back pains. So there is some investigation going on the office side or even the industry side. So the trend is there will be a increase in the capex. I can say for sure on the Petronas side, there are spending on this. For my overseas client, is a mandatory thing for them to provide such facilities to meet the HFE requirements. So I would say on our personal life, try to get some ergonomic chair if you are going to work from home in the long run. So I do have my own set as well at home. So the furnitures pricing have gone down compared to many years ago. So you can get a good ones for prices between 600 to 1,005. So I'm not talking you to get the 30,000 one. Okay, so there is such thing also. Okay, and tables, ergonomic tables are available locally made between 1,003 to 1,006. Okay, so that I can share with the audience. All right, back to you, Celia.
Thank you, Aradhana Raj. We are lacking out of time now. Let's move to our last speaker, which is Dr. Shaye. Can you please elaborate more on the grant and opportunity in this line?
All right. Thank you very much, Celia. I think just to add to what Prof. Sharifah mentioned about, you can see that from her slide showing just now, there's quite a vast opportunity that are there for people to do research. Funding is always there. Either they are from various sectors, various ministry. We have various opportunity that you can link. If you look into detail of all these grants that are available to everybody, is actually the requirement of each grant are different. So there are these grants actually to persuade or to encourage academics to come up with a research that are relevant, that are significant to the industry. It's no longer like the pensyarah having the shop sendiri punya project. So dia suka-suka buat, I mean for his own good, and got the publication done, that's it. And then the impact is not there within the industry to the current technology and to the current needs of the people. So actually, that's why we're having so much flexibility in terms of getting grants, and then getting various type of grant, and the government are introducing so many types of availability to the industry to hop into, okay, you contribute into this, and then you will get this type of exemption. And then not just that, it's just the issue of getting collaboration between the industry needs in terms of what you really require. And then because we ourselves in academics sometimes is rather limited to deliver the things to the industry. So these are the bridging ground that the governments are setting up into to ensure that these are the required line that we have to portray into. And then of course, when we talk about opportunity, I myself in mining industry, if you look into the needs of the nation have not been highlighted in most of the grants. When we talk about the niche that is required by the grants, mining has been always left out. So we somehow, as academics working into mining, we somehow have to really camouflage in terms of getting the works being done. Most of course, I understand, I mean, the needs of the government that sometimes require certain field or certain niche have to be highlighted. But some of the grants, but also have to come from the industry and also to the government funding, highlighting the mining sector, especially when we talk about upstreams. Okay, when we talk about upstream, especially we want to conduct sustainable mining, we want to conduct a sustainable exploration work, we want to talk about sustainable processing routes of these minerals that won't harm our environment. We demand that, but the research funding that available are rather limited. So I would encourage the industry to play their roles as well, and for people who are in this industry to really contribute to make sure that the industry, especially when we talk about mining, can flourish further. So I myself get involved. Most of the industry really, as Prof. Sharifah mentioned just now, I mean, always come up with a short-term things. I mean, when they have problems, they come over. In fact, the next day they will start calling you. What are the results? So sometimes we in the university sometimes struggle to really cope into that, because I mean there are so many things to do. So sometimes I mean we really have to go into types of research that suits you, a long term, a short term, that suits most of you. So I think the opportunity has been highlighted, and then especially when we talk about mining per se, a lot of research, a lot of peoples that are required. That's why I would like to highlight one important thing, the expertise, especially when we talk about getting the minerals, which is exploration part, and how to mine them sustainably. Especially when we talk about now REE, we are talking about in situ leaching, and start people talking about there's no more trees going to be chopped out. It's just like injecting some of the solution, and you leach out the minerals, and you got your minerals out. Sounds that simple, but the technicalities that involve inside that, they are tremendous, and you require specific people, specific needs, specific skills in this technology to be really being applied in the field. So that's basically I would like to highlight the grants being designed in such a way to ensure that we have tackled the necessity, the requirement of the industry. So that's my final say about the opportunity, and also to the grants that are available in our industry. Thank you. Back to you, Celia.
Okay. We receive a question. Is there any criteria to select the right research project to avoid like trouble from the trouble or useless project? This will cause the waste of the resources as well.
All right, so I mean that's why I highlighting just now. I mean the issue or the research project can come from the industry itself. That will be the really relevant thing that people can say. It's not just come. Maybe the idea can come from both. I mean industry and also the academics, so that we can match up, so that the resources or the technology that we have in the university that can be delivered to the industry, and the industry really can benefit it, and also they might add up to the requirement of that particular project to make it better. So then it really suits the requirement for the industry and also to the academics. Then we don't end up as academic producing what we call short sendiri lah. So that's what I think. I mean, the most important input. It's not a blame game. It's not from the industry saying that, oh, these academics are doing just a simple research work that are not benefit to us. So the industry can come. Of course, I mean, we ourselves have to do our literature thing. I mean, to make sure what are the current technology, what are the current needs of the industry, what are the current needs of this technology involvement. So that's our job as well. But by having involvement of the people on the field, that will make the project more significant and more contributed to the field itself. I think Prof. Sharifah can add into that further.
Yeah, thank you. I think what Prof. Said mentioned is correct. At the same time, besides, first, of course, it's best that when universities are doing research, the research is what the industry need. Yeah, because if you don't have a user or a taker for that project, yeah. So let's say I did a project, okay, I get some research result, I publish in journals. Yeah, that's great. But then who's the user of that research? Yeah, so we always have to have the end in mind. If we do a research, who is the beneficiary of this research? So that's the first question that we have to answer. If we're doing some research, who is the beneficiary? The second one is we have to make connection with those beneficiaries. Yeah. So a lot of research project, yeah, a lot of researchers, they do research, but in many cases, it doesn't become a product, and it doesn't reach the end customer or the end user or the end client or maybe customer and so on. So this is a really waste of research, in my opinion. Yeah, we don't just want to do a research and then just stop there and publish paper. We want it to go up to commercialization and reach the actual user and beneficiary of that project or research. That is what we want. So in order to get that, one, of course, a research relevant to the industry. Second is we need some people or entrepreneurs that is resilient to bring this technology to the market. Yeah, and that is also what is lacking in the universities and what many people has failed. Yeah, many publish papers, but it doesn't reach the market because we don't have strong people that can help the universities, yeah, to bring this technology to the market. So we need a collaboration with the industries also here, where if, for example, this kind of technologies may interest you, yeah, maybe you can also help the universities to bring this kind of technology to the market. Of course, there will be a lot of help as well as support from the government to help bring this like prototype development and so on. But again, if we don't have a strong entrepreneur, that this is also somewhere that it might become a white elephant project. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for all. Any other questions to ask to our speakers? You may type or you may unmute yourself to speak and ask questions. If there's no question, let's do a wrap up here. Thank you for all our speakers to carve this time with us. Thank you helping make this webinar talk great success, and we really looking forward to working with you all in the future events, especially Prof. Sharifah already highlighted, please collaborate more with the universities to help for this oil and gas industry and also in the other aspect. Okay. Shall we have a photo section right now?
Celia, I think there is one question highlighting in the chat. How is the competency of graduate compared to other countries? Okay, this has been a debate, I think, for many years. People are questioning about our graduates. I mean, not being able to compete with other students and so on. So I think I think Prof. Sharifah can add to this later. As we, our student, I mean, in USM per se, we are confident in terms of delivering what is required, especially the requirement from the industry, and we are always getting feedbacks from the industry that hiring our student, how they feel about our student. In terms of not just competency, but also their attitude. I mean, when we visit, because we know our industry very well, and they keep on giving feedbacks. What are the skill? What are the things that are lacking for our student? And that improvement are being highlighted from time to time. And then most of our students also, we get them involved into international participation in terms of seminars, and also some industry, international visits to other university, and get engaged with these graduates that are overseas. And we bring experts from other universities, talk to our student and see how they goes. And then from this feedback, we know that our students are good in what area and what are the lacking, so that we can do further improvement in terms of their technicalities, their soft skill, and so on. But as an overall, as for USM, I think we don't have any issue in terms of getting our graduate accepted to the industry and also pursuing their studies overseas. So I don't see any issue with that. Maybe they are, of course, like pepatah Melayu cakap, dalam setan dan pisang, you don't expect everything to be good. I mean, there always one or two that are facing. I face some of the industry call me, Syed, what happened to your student? And suddenly I know that is a problematic student, and unfortunately that company received that student. So they can happen that way. But overall, I can say we don't have any issue, and we are confident that our graduates are competent to the skill that we are supposed to deliver to them. Maybe Prof. Sharifah would like to add.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Syed. Yeah, I do agree. In terms of ranking, you can see that Malaysia universities, UTM, USM, UM, and so on, we're among the top, we're within the top universities ranking and so on. So we could say that universities in Malaysia is equivalent to all many other universities out there, which are top universities also. If you ask UTM or USM, and I believe several other universities which are research university in Malaysia, they are quite well known also to other countries and so on. So in my opinion, the local universities in Malaysia is very good already. You don't even have to go to overseas to get good education nowadays. Malaysia is as good as other countries. And you'll be surprised, when, for example, I have several collaborators at other universities, and they always ask me, do you have a Malaysian student that would like to further study with us? Because they really like Malaysians. They really like Malaysians to further study, because they say Malaysians, they normally listen to their advice, and they're very hardworking.
Yes.
So a lot of my international collaborators, they always ask me if I have students that would like to further study, because they say that Malaysians are always good students. It's just that one of the, maybe some of the things that I don't know, maybe this is a Malaysian thing. It's just that Malaysian are sometimes, they don't speak up too much. That's the only problem. Yeah, a lot of our students, if we compare with other students from other countries, they speak a lot of their mind and so on. But I think this is more of a culture thing in Malaysia. We are not lazy. We are not. We are still brilliant. We are still very good in analytical and other things. But maybe one of the downside of Malaysian sometimes is these communication skills. But normally when they start working, like most of us, when we start working, this barrier can already be break. It's just that they need more exposure to industries, meet people, and other things. And I believe most of these things can be improved through time as well. Yeah, so that's my feedback. Thank you.
Sometimes it's just a culture thing that
Yeah,
we
it's a
have
culture
pressure.
thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean our students are weak.
Yeah, I
Our
agree.
students are still brilliant. It's just that they
Yes.
don't talk too much as compared to other.
Thank you all. Okay, let's make a wrap up from this takeaway advice for the audience from Dr. Dave.
Okay. First of all, I'm very happy to see a full house today on a Saturday morning. Right. To me, you have taken that much required first step, lah. Right. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you to all the experts, right, who have shared, like Prof. Sharifa, Prof. Said, and all. So, but to add on, I would like to add on some good memories and achievements collected during my postgraduate journey, hoping that I can inspire you, right? So, my best memory will be having the opportunity to present a part of my research work in Kyoto University, the second oldest university in Japan. I also received a total 4 research awards from international events. There are 3 intellectual property copyright approved for the outcome of my research. So if you're an adult learner coming from the industry, these are other potential success and achievements you can gain as you take up your postgraduate part, right? So of course, I also consider myself lucky to have a good supervisor. I have a very supportive family, right? So these are the important elements that you need to consider as well. So do talk to your family, right? Get their blessings, share your plans, how you plan to continue your studies, because that's very important for you to carry on till the end, right? So in conclusion, so going through this postgraduate studies while being full time on work, it's not like preparing for exam where you put all your effort 2-3 months and you sit for the exam and then move on, right? It's more like running like for a marathon, right? You need to plan ahead. You need to know your strength. You need to plan your pace, your break intervals, and you have to break your overall journey into smaller milestones, right? So at every milestone, do take some time off, celebrate your achievements, and get back running, right? So that's my I would like to conclude that, right? Thank you so much. Back to you, Celia.
Yep. One last question. This is the last question we received. What opinion about graduate nowadays expect high salary job with less pressure environment and not tough enough to face the challenge?
Wow, Prof. Sharifa, you'd like to respond to that first?
Okay, what opinion about graduate expect high salary? Yeah, in my opinion, if it was me lah, I don't know about the nowadays students, but it was me. I'll be looking forward more on gaining knowledge first and look at the salary as my second priority. that is me last time lah. I do not know about the current graduates, but I do agree. Maybe sometimes I do not know. Maybe because of the high, maybe it's because of economy nowadays. Everything is expensive now, and as you can see, also the engineer salary is still quite low. Yeah, it's not really like, for example, we study so much until degree, for example, but the engineer salary, for example, it does not come to the same level. For example, maybe those that working for Grab or maybe Panda or maybe let's say they become a YouTuber or others, they can get even maybe a higher salary than an engineer. So it's not really fair. In my opinion, government should also revisit the salary, because that is one of the reasons why some of our engineers go to Singapore and so on, because it's a higher salary there. Everybody needs to live, yeah. So I think a salary which commensurate, yeah, with the level of our expertise is needed. Government may also need to revisit the salary. So if the salary is it's at par with whatever degree that you have, then I think they will be there. Yeah, they will be there. But of course, having said that, it's quite hard. Yeah, a lot of industries also, even let's say the government raise up the salary of the engineers. Yeah, then the industries will also be pressured to raise up the salary as well, and then the industries will be complaining as well at that time. Yeah. So I guess this is something that needs to be discussed, and maybe needs to be in, I do not know, but maybe the government needs to have a task force to look into this. Maybe IEM, for example, can work with all the people here and then come up with some paperwork to give suggestions to the government on how we can address this. Of course, on graduates being resilient, it's all about motivation as well. Like me, when I'm talking to my undergraduate students, I'll always try to motivate them, give them the future thinking of what is the benefit of being an engineer. For example, don't have a short-minded mindset. Yeah, you just want salary, for example. And of course, resilience as well as adaptation, yeah, is very, very important. People say that to be a successful person, you also have to have grit. Yeah, you have to have grit, G-R-I-T, not G-R-E-E-D. So you have to be resilient as well as you have to be able to overcome all these challenges. Then, for example, your employer, yeah, will appreciate you, yeah, and you can raise up the rank lah inside the company that you are working on. If you, for example, you work there and then you quit after several months, you work here and then you quit after that, then people also don't want to take you for higher jobs as well. It's not really that good to jump here and there. When you just feel that, oh, I cannot cope with this job, then you jump and try another job. That shows that you yourself is not a resilient person.
Yep. To add to that, I think yeah, when the government start thinking about rising up the minimum salary to 1,500 ringgit last time, we are thinking about our engineers having starting pay of 2,500 ringgit. So, I mean, throughout, I think I remember my first job I received as engineer 1,800 ringgit at that time. And then until now, 2022, that was back in 1996. And now it's already 2023. And fresh graduate normally receive about 2,500 ringgit currently. So, but as Prof. Sharifah said, I mean, I always saying that, Maksud, especially in mining, where the increment came after 1 year of your service, I mean, in the industry. And when people start seeing your potential, you can raise up your salary quite significantly throughout the years. So be patient about getting your foot in the industry and get your attitude right. I think the money will come. I mean, the pay will come later as you can portray your attitudes right, and then your quality of job. I think that will come. Of course, I mean, it comes with the economic situation per se. I mean, with the current things, I mean, as engineer, you study for 4 years, and then you have to get your professionals and everything. So, and you got that much. So people are start thinking about my as well that I drive my, motorcycle. I get my pay about 3,000 per month. So without thinking about solving problems, solving that, solving this, and dirty up my thing. I mean, that's will continue debates. So yeah, I mean, I agree to Prof. Sharifah. I think that's how you have to. There must be a certain things, certain maybe like IEM can really have some people thinking about maybe suggestion to the government of rethinking about what a suitable salary for our young engineers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. I think this discussion is getting heat up. So, but it's our end time here. It's already 11 o'clock. So thank you for everyone attend this section.